The Chapman University Survey of American Fears is an ongoing project. We do it every year to try and track and see how our fears are changing.
The Chapman University Survey of American Fears asks Americans about 88 different fears across a wide variety of domains, including fears about crime, such as mugging and murder, fears about the government, such as government corruption and the usage of drones, personal anxiety, such as heights and claustrophobia, and a wide variety of other fears. I think one of the key surprises were actually how afraid Americans are of the government. So some of the top fears include the corruption of government officials, cyber terrorism, corporate tracking of personal data, government tracking of personal data. So what really rose to the top of the list this year are fears about the government and technology.
Our respondents told us that they were reacting to fear by voting behavior, by purchasing home alarms, by purchasing guns, and by sending their kids to private schools. What we found was that 1 out of 5 people in our survey responded that they voted for a candidate because they were afraid. When you looked at people who had a higher than average fear of government, fully 1/3 chose candidates because they were afraid. Now, there are a lot of reasons that people buy guns, and frankly, most are bought for sporting or for hunting purposes. But among those people who report they bought a gun because they were afraid, they mostly reported they were afraid of the government.
We discovered a huge disconnect in what Americans think will happen after a disaster and what actually happens in the aftermath of a major natural or man-made disaster. Americans expect that first responders will be there immediately following a disaster, and that is really very unrealistic. When you think about, say, a tornado, like the one that hit Joplin, Missouri, that tornado leveled 7,000 homes in just minutes. Americans need to be prepared to take care of themselves, their families, their pets, for at least 72 hours following a natural disaster.
We found that more than half of Americans believe in something paranormal. The question is, what specific paranormal thing do they believe in? 2/5 of Americans believe that places can be haunted by spirits. 1/4 believe that the living and the dead can communicate with each other. And fully 11% believe that Bigfoot is a real creature. With our survey data, we're able to find out what type of personal factors are associated with higher levels of paranormal belief. And some of those personal factors include low levels of church attendance, being non-white, being Catholic, not having a college degree, being female, unmarried, or living in the Northeast.
Fear's not always a negative thing. I mean, it can be fun. That's why we have a whole horror movie industry. But it reaches a point where it can work against us. We hope that when we bring this information to the American people, it helps us understand ourselves better. And our real hope is that someday in the future, we'll be driven by things other than fear. Maybe hope and optimism instead.